Hello and welcome back to Emily Cat 176. I really should get myself comfortable, shouldn't I, first? So it's still a bit cooler here, but we're going to be 38 again on Saturday. Yay, that's tomorrow. But anyway, so I'm talking about a book today. And of course, as I've said, I tend to listen to audiobooks more than actually read books these days. And if you're looking at the title, I'll tell you at the end why this audiobook has been so different. But I borrowed this book from BorrowBox. Now, BorrowBox, I don't know if you have it in other countries, but with public libraries here in Australia, they have what's called BorrowBox. You can borrow we can borrow ebooks. I borrow audiobooks from them, and I think you can actually reserve books, and actually if you want to read an actual book, you can go in and reserve them and whatever. It's a really good service because of course the public libraries in Australia are free. You just sign up. You've got to be a member. You sign up as a member. That costs nothing. And I looked the other day, and as I said, I've been doing a lot of travelling this week. I've been all over the place, actually. And of course, when I'm on public transport, this is when I listen to my audiobooks. So I borrowed this book. It's by Dervla McTiernan. Yes, Irish novelist. What Happened to Nina? Again, I had never heard of this author, but of course, because I like crime and I like mysteries, and it's in sections. When you look at the catalogue, it's in sections, and a lot of it was on loan. This was one that wasn't, so I thought, oh, I'll read this. Now, I have read different reviews on this. Some people love it, some people thought it was very ordinary. But the premise of the novel is, and it starts with Nina. Nina has gone hiking with her boyfriend, Simon. And she ends up thinking, because she has a fall, and she ends up thinking that he has deliberately done something to the rope. I don't know much about climbing, but I know there's ropes and they've got to be secured and all the rest of it. And she falls on her back, and she really gets hurt. And they go back to his house because he comes from quite a wealthy family. They go back to his house, and she's thinking about it, and she decides to get up and get dressed, and she's going to go down and tell him that they're splitting up. And this is the first chapter. What happens next? The title is What Happened to Nina? She goes missing. And it's interesting because, well, her parents are Lee and Andy, and Simon's parents are Rory and Jamie. And it gets quite fraught with a lot of issues because Simon is saying that he left her and everything was all right, and her Nina's parents, they're desperately trying to find her. And the story, it actually reminds me very much of the true life case of Gabby Petito. I think that was her last name. For any of you that don't know, that happened in 2021. She and her fiance Brian, they bought a van, and they were going to go on a van adventure around America, and they were going to film it. She was going to put it on YouTube, etc. And her parents didn't hear from her for days, and it turned out that Brian had driven back to Florida on his own. But in the meantime, his parents had hired a lawyer, So they were refusing, all of them were refusing to talk to Gabby's family, to police, whatever. No explanation for where she was. And then Brian, he managed to get away, and he actually went out into the wilderness and took his own life. So this novel, it's sort of a similar plot, but because Simon's parents, they hire a lawyer and they hire a PR company, and the PR company has bots flood social media implying that the parents have had something to do with the disappearance. And I think this is what the story's really about. It's about the two families. While Nina's parents are really struggling, Rory and Jamie, who are Simon's parents, are doing everything they can to protect their son. And this is where I think it's similar to the Gabby Petito case. There is a different ending with the book. What did I think of it? And I have to admit, I watched, because there's been a thing on Netflix just recently about Gabby Petito, and I watched that while I was listening to this book. And there are definitely similarities between the stories, because, as I said, in the Gabby Petito case, Brian's parents, they were really, the way they were acting was really odd. And the fact that they would not speak, wouldn't speak to, as I said, to Gabby's parents, the police, nothing. And in the book, this is what Rory and Jamie are like, and they're trying to protect him no matter what. No matter what. Even if they break the law, they're going to protect their son. So I thought it was all right. I probably would have given it maybe 4 out of 5. It was interesting when she wrote about the PR company and the bots, and it made me think, we have all seen this. We have all seen through social media, people get cancelled. You don't know, like even with papers, you don't know who's behind the letters that are being submitted, and there are bots out there doing whatever. I thought that was really interesting. But what was also interesting about this audiobook was the fact that I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and there's normally only one narrator who reads the whole book. Not this book. There were different actors voicing the different roles, and I have never seen that happen with an audiobook before, because you can pick up the different voices. And in the credits, I think there were 4 or 5, maybe 6 actors were mentioned, and I thought, what a good idea. And I'm currently looking at another one of her books, and it's the same thing. It's not just one narrator. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Because I have never seen that before with audiobooks. I said, it's always been one narrator. Joanne Harris, she is narrating her own books. And as I said, she reads the whole book. Interesting. I think it added to the story. I really do. What do you think? Do you like, with audiobooks, do you like them? Do you like one narrator, or do you like the thought of different actors voicing the roles? That's what they used to do on old-time radio serials. There'd be a whole cast of actors, and different voices. So yeah, it was an interesting book. Interesting audio book. And yeah, I'd probably give it maybe 4 out of 5. It's her current book. As I said, I had never heard of this author before, but as I said, I've got the next book, again through Borrow Box. So yeah, do any of you know Dervla McTiernan? Irish name. Do you know her books? Have you read or listened to What Happened to Nina? As I said before, I looked up Borrow Box. I hadn't even heard of that novel, but it was interesting, and it was interesting while watching the Gabby Petito story on Netflix as well. So let me know what you think. As I said, if you know this author, have you read this book? Did you like it? Let's start a conversation. Okay, so again, I would ask if you are enjoying these videos to please consider subscribing. I am trying to build the channel. I'm trying to. It costs nothing, but only if you want to. And thank you to everyone who does watch these videos. No poetry this week. It's just been a crazy busy week. And yesterday I actually went to a show that I'd forgotten I bought a ticket for, but I'll talk about that on Monday. So enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. Bye.